Hey guys, how's it going? It's Andy from MagooInvesting. Today we're going to be continuing on with the Robinhood Top Stocks series, and today we're going to be talking about one of the giants, Disney, ticker symbol DIS. And so this was a topic that was suggested by someone in the comment section down below, so shout out for that. And if you'd like me to go over any stocks in the future, please leave them in the comment section down below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. So Disney is an absolute entertainment giant. They're pretty much in every aspect of entertainment. They're in sports with ESPN. They're in streaming now with Disney Plus. They're in movies with Star Wars, the Marvel Universe, all that kind of stuff. And they're in theme parks. So pretty much they're in everything. Everyone knows Disney. They're one of the most recognizable brands on the planet. And stock-wise, they're just as reliable. As we go and talk about the stock and look at the charts, you'll see that it's had so many years of just great returns, and then recently things have gotten a little choppy. And so overall, this is not really a stock that is something that I normally trade. It's too consistent, it doesn't have enough volatility. And then when we go over and talk on the charts, I'll kind of explain why I don't see a lot over there that gets me really excited. Most of these companies, when I look at them, there's something that I can pinpoint on the charts that kind of gives me hope about a potential great trade. For Disney, the only thing I'm seeing is it's a very reliable stock, and if I put my money in there, I'd expect 5 years later that things would be going pretty well. And I gotta say in every video that I am not a licensed financial advisor, so I'd highly recommend talking to a professional, someone that give you the best advice for your money going forward. And so Disney as a company, I think that they're great at pretty much everything that they do. I think they're going to be taking over in the streaming market. I talked about that recently in the Netflix video. I'll throw that up there right now. I think they're going to be very successful in that. They obviously have Disneyland, Disney World, all of those theme parks, which do very well. They have all the movies that do super well. The only thing I don't really love about Disney is ESPN, which is very weird for me to say, considering I grew up obsessed with ESPN. But they have not done a very good job adapting to how entertainment is now, and I think that's a huge problem for them going forward. But obviously ESPN is not the only thing that they do in Disney overall, so I don't think it's a huge red flag. It's just something that when I saw them acquire ESPN, I kind of scratched my head because I don't know how the company runs super well, and I even knew things were not going super well there. But that's just a very small factor in it. And Disney is a great company, and now let's hop on over to the charts, and I'll kind of show you what I see on the computer. So here we are looking at Disney on Robinhood. As you can see, 66% buy rating, 183,000 people owning it. That's pretty high. Let's go to most popular and see where that is on the list. 183, so it's in the top 10, which is pretty impressive. When I think of reliable stocks, I think of Disney, I think of Microsoft, sometimes Apple. It really depends. But Disney's super reliable stock. When we go to the 1 week, it's pretty flat. 1 month is up 2%. 3 months is down 5%, 1 year is up 14%. And so the thing you'll notice compared to some of the other stocks we've talked about on this series is there's not a lot of price movement. This is not the type of company where you're going to look at it and you're not going to have 400% returns over 5 years. When we go to the 5 year, it's up 44%, which is amazing for a company like this, but you're not going to be getting the type of returns that you could be getting with a smaller, lesser-known company. Like when we pull up Roku, 1 year, it's up 140% and is up almost 800% in the past 5 years, and it hasn't even been a stock for 5 years. So Disney is not the type of company that you're going to be going into to look for those type of returns. The thing you're looking for is consistency. So here we are starting on the 4-hour, 180-day chart, and for once, I'm not really seeing a lot that's kind of jumping out to me. I'm going to start drawing some trend lines maybe. That could be one right there. Looking around, we'll call that one. When I'm just looking at this, there's like not a lot that's jumping out to me. Normally when I look at a stock, it takes me a couple seconds to kind of pick something interesting out of it. But when I look at Disney, I don't really see that on this type of chart. We'll go back to the 10-year 1 day, and now we're starting to see some interesting things. This area in here is, I played Disney back last summer. Haven't touched it since then. But as you can see, it was pretty flat from 2015 up until April of this year. And so it had some nice plays if you're wanting to swing trade it. But then it gapped up on earnings or news. Actually, it looks like it was before earnings. So I don't exactly know what this was. Might have been the Disney Plus streaming service announcement. Anyway, it gaps up. pushes a little higher, and now it's back down, and it's at the upper end of the gap. So that's kind of the first main support that I'm seeing. As I talked about in the video yesterday, gaps most of the time get filled. The only problem is you don't know how long it's going to be. They could get filled within a week. As we talked about with Activision Blizzard yesterday, it can take up to 2 years. So something I'll be watching here is we have a potential death cross coming, and that's when the 50 moving average is heading down and the 200 is moving up. And so that's usually a bearish signal. Normally we want to see it where the faster one is crossing over, so this would be a golden cross right here. As you can see, the stock reacted well to that. But here we're getting it where the 50 is slowing down and the 200 is catching up from these past couple months. So not something that would totally ruin my thought of a company just based on a death cross, but it's just something to think about. Also, with upcoming earnings, that might be a catalyst to push it down and have it retest the support, or if things are good, to push up to the all-time high. With a company like Disney, I don't expect to see it fill all the way down to 115. That's just not the type of moves that they have. Obviously, this was a news event that people were not expecting and we're very excited about. I think with Disney Plus coming out soon, I think they'll be knocking Netflix down a peg. I talked about that in my Netflix video. I just think that Disney is a super reliable company, and if I was looking to put money in, if I was going to disappear off the face of the earth, come back in 5 years, probably would be in the green. But as I talked about a lot on this channel, not the type of trades I'm really looking for. I think this will be an interesting earnings because there's been a lot of consolidation in here for a while. You had that giant move up from the news, and then since then it went up, slowly starting coming down, and then the volatility has really decreased. So I think maybe these earnings, maybe this holiday season will be enough where it'll pick a direction. Either it's going to fill this gap or it's going to move back up towards its all-time high. It's just something to watch. I don't see enough attractive plays in here for me to warrant taking a position. I'm going to set an alert just to see if it breaks below this support and starts filling this gap. But until something like that happens, I will be on the sideline and just kind of watching, and actually not even watching, just waiting until one of these alerts goes off. But that's just my opinion. I'm not really a long-term investor. So let's go and look at the price forecast and see what the professionals are thinking about Disney. And so they think things are going to be very good for Disney. It's up 20% year to date. And they think that the forecast, the upper end, they're thinking plus 31% and the low end down 1.4%. So based on a risk-reward basis, that looks like an incredible trade. I don't exactly see it like that, but that's what they're seeing. And then finally, Yahoo Finance has it as a buy. It has it positive in the short term, down in the medium term, up in the long term. I don't exactly know where the down in the medium term comes from, what they're seeing, but long term I agree with. Short term, I'm kind of indifferent. I just don't exactly know where the stock's going to be going anytime soon. There's not enough on the charts for me to kind of make a well-informed decision, so I'm just going to sit back and watch. And so overall, Disney is just kind of a great example of a reliable company and a massive blue chip stock that people have been investing in for years. And I don't think that'll change anytime soon. I don't see a lot of attractive things for myself for the type of trades that I like to be taking, but for long-term trade, Disney is as attractive as it's always been. With earnings coming up, I think it'll be really interesting to see if that gap fills or it'll take a little longer for it to fill. I think eventually it'll have to come down and close that gap, but until that happens, it's just kind of something that I'll be watching. As we talked about with Activision yesterday, gaps can fill within a week, they can fill within a couple years, so you just really don't know. But it's just kind of something that when I looked at the charts, that was like the only thing that kind of jumped out to me. It wasn't a super interesting chart where it has a lot of really set good support and resistance lines, but that gap, my eye just kept going right to it. So I'll be interested to see what happens with earnings with Disney, if it's enough momentum to push it up and go back to that all-time high, or it'll start fading down. Who knows? That's kind of the great thing about the stock market. I'll be sitting on the sideline watching. Disney is not my type of stock, but I know that it's a type of stock that people really enjoy investing in. That's why it's so popular on Robinhood, and that's why one of you guys requested it. So again, if you'd like me to go over a specific stock, please leave it in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, I really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, as it'll help my channel out a lot. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.